New Level Golf, you've heard about them. We talked about them at the PGA show. Let's review them. Welcome back to the McGOlf shop, and we are reviewing the golf club. This will be a fitting Friday type setup. What I have behind me here, a good friend of mine, Mars. He comes and hits at the range quite a bit, and he is the perfect guy to be testing these clubs. New Level Golf, we saw him at the PGA show. They're all forged clubs, they're all milled of some variety, and they all have a different aspect. They have the 1030, the 902, and the 610. And each one's a little different for the next. The 1030 being the most forgiving, where the 902 is probably for the actual player, and the 610 kind of in between. So I'm going to feed you some specs. We'll have them down in the show notes, and the contact information for New Level if you're not in the Ohio area, and that way that person, if you're really truly interested, will go through that. So we're going to watch Mars hit a few. I'm going to show you what they do on our Flightscope. And the Flightscope X3 is what's going to be capturing all our data today. So very, very, very precise stuff. So let's get started, and we'll get some feedback from Mars when we're all said and done. So let's hit some balls. Alrighty, big dog, we're going to get started. I'm going to get you. We're going to just get rid of all these. Boom, 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 boom. We're going to hit about 4 or 5 a piece, and then what we'll do is we'll go over what you thought. That was hit. That was the best one of the day right there.
Yeah.
173, 192. And you about just flushed the snot out of it. Not bad. 81 mile an hour. So if we look at it as a kind of an overall result, 162, 185, 82 mile an hour swing speed, club speed just right at 113, 137 on the average, with your worst being the 150 to 176. Still getting around about 5,000. You're not too far off the mark, and with a range ball, I'd say that's pretty good. Okay, with your best being that last one at 173, you just found the middle. Basically, was what happened. And the best, you know, when you find it, you don't have to swing nearly as hard, and it just soars straight as an arrow. All right, let's go to the 902.
All right.
This one was, you know, a little bit thicker.
Yeah, that looks like a game improvement.
Yeah. This is the one that stands up. It's a 28 degree 6 iron. The other one is, in fact, we'll go to the 610. We'll work our way down.
Yeah.
And then the 610 is the same loft, a little thinner in the sole, a little thinner in the top line, but a little longer blade. So
that one did look compact.
Yeah, this one's a little narrower when you look down on it. It'll have a little less offset too. So this is that tweener for that guy that's still looking for that forgiveness, and still, but still can hit the ball. This is probably right where you live.
I'm thinking the same thing.
check. That's the common terrorist attack. And now we're back, now we're back, now we're back, now we're back, now. Give me moon, give me speed, give me gloom, light flows. Blood from your nose, yeah. Remember what you had a dream about. Down the shout, down the shout, down the shout, down the shout, yeah. You don't know, I think I'm love junkie. I'm aware to sit down, my groove is funky. Last scout got shot at the candy land. Nature's child get high on mother's roots and ashes. Reaches, you gotta microwave my heart. Make it hot, make it hot, make it hot, make it hot. You don't know, I think you got I'm in love junkie. All the world is sit down, my groove is funky. You don't know what's in the I'm in love junkie. All the world is sit down, my groove is funky.
Dude,
That one should have been cured.
172.01. That's crazy. All right, so now is a combination here. The 902 went about 4 yards longer carry and about 7 yards longer total distance. You're much straighter, and you got about that, you know, you hit it just a, you know, I would call it, you know, when we talked about that before, the 0.00 to 0.03 in the smash factor. You know, when you get up to the 0.03, it's kind of like, yeah, we made an improvement. Is it awesome? No, but it is an improvement.
Okay.
And when you get into that 0.03 to the 0.06, that's like, okay, now we've made a marked improvement, which this is, you know, 4 yards on the same kind of club,
Okay.
same shaft. I mean, that's pretty good, right? And the spin was just a hair lower, but man, you were way straighter. All right,
More solid feel to that club too.
good. Yeah, lucky you got both of my weed whackers to start. Now the 902 is more of the players. I've been following the guy's Twitter feed. He's got a couple of guys, brand ambassadors, and this is the club of choice for the guys that are playing, and guys are trying out for the U.S. Opens and whatnot. So this would be the club. Yes, it was. You belted that one well done. So if we put them all together, you like the 610, man. Well done. The 902 came in a resounding second, and the 1030, the most game improving one, came in last. And that's because you're used to we'll go over that one. But the numbers, it's really kind of funny how the numbers are virtually the same. Ball speed wise, hitting it wise, quality of contact, the spin rate's just a little bit, you know, that 20 RPM I guess cost you 2 whole yards. But you were much straighter with the 902 than you were than the other one. And this one's the closed one, so we expect it to go left on you, because that was the one with the most offset, right?
Right.
And it says you were hitting a draw versus the other two with very little offset were going straight. There's the 1030, there's this center line, right?
Okay.
There's the center line, and you got that going on. And then the 610, basically hunting the middle, right? There's 2 just on the right, or no, that's the green one. So, yeah. So 1 on the right, 1, 2, 3, 4 on the left within 9 yards.
Pull or a draw?
It said straight, so I would imagine just a hair pull.
Okay.
And then the 902 was the bigger one right here, and there was this one, so 2 on the right, and he just belted that one, and then this one and this one down here. All right, let's do this a little bit of review. The 1030, all right, the 1030 is the most game improving of the clan. You'll see that it has a nice big cavity. It has a nice big cavity. Now keep in mind that these are forged clubs, and then they're milled. All right, so there's a lot of precision here when it goes on the removing of the metal. It has the most offset of all 3 of the models. Okay, the most offset of all 3 of the models. And we tested all 6 irons, just to keep that in mind. Now if you'll look, what Eric likes to do is he kills the leading edge. So it'd be nice and flat or just slightly rounded on the back, and then kills the leading edge. That's what this is. It has a compact look at address, but actually is a very tall iron. Next is the 610. All right, the 610 is a little longer in the blade, has about the same loft as the 1030. All right, but a little longer blade and a lot less offset. Okay, so if you guys are one of those fellas like Mars is, that makes good flush contact with it, something with a lot of offset's going to make you draw the ball or pull it to the left. So you're looking at something with a lot less offset, and this is a longer blade length, and look how nice and small that top line is. So for the guy still looking for forgiveness but still quite the ball striker, this 902 could be, the 610 could be that deal. All right, the 610 could be that deal. Is the 902. The 902 is truly the player's club. Right, a little more compact, slightly less lofted, or more lofted, slightly more lofted. All right, for the guys that can really get into it. And as you can see, it's got a bit of a pointier toe. All right, more of that, what I would call a player's cavity for sure. There's very little cavity in it, but it certainly gets into it. And again, you see the leading edge. So we're going to bring Mars in here, and we're going to go over, and he's going to give us our impression of what he thought of each one. So the first one.
First one we hit. This is the max game improvement.
Yep, that was the one with the most. It's got the bigger cavity, right? It's got a little bit more oomph on the bottom, so it gets up.
Thicker top line and more offset.
Right. So we'll start with when you look down on it. What'd you think?
From the top line, it looks very compact. But then when you turn it and look at it face on, you can tell it is tall. So it looks like that's where a lot of the size and weight is going.
Okay.
As far as the way it feels, the ball coming off of it, to me, a little clunky.
Okay.
And then, of course, I have to fight it to keep it from pulling left, I think, because of the offset. So,
but a lot of mass down here on the bottom, so that the ball was, and you can see that when you look at the 1030, it was, even for the loft you were getting, it was still skying pretty good.
Okay.
So that wasn't too bad. All right. 610.
610 ended up being...
we're gonna see some positive stuff out of this
610
one.
ended up being my favorite. Everything about the club just looked good. The top line, I think, is a great size, not too fat, not too thin. Just the size of the club gave you a lot of confidence. But the feel off of this for me, and where my game is,
right there.
It was right there. I mean, everything is in a very minimal offset, which looks good to my eye. Didn't feel like I had to fight it to stop it from going left, and I could just swing it with a lot of confidence and be aggressive. And I think that the data shows how that one did for me.
Now let me just to show you a little bit of this. Alrighty, so what I was watching when he was hitting was that the toe was quite a bit up. Now when we talk about this from a fitting perspective, when a person starts like that at address, and they go, oh my God, your toe up and all this stuff, that's diddly bumpkus. It's about how you impact into the ball, because you could stand straight up, you could get through. Mars keeps his spine angle pretty good, so I expected this to see a little bit of left, and it did. And if you look on the inside, there's a lot of what you'll see right where my finger's at. That's where all the balls were impacting. So if I flatten this out for him just a little bit, he's in the more center and even more distance. That's what that is. And more solid feel, more distance. So that's what that is. So there's your fitting tip for the day. Right there. 610. Eric, well done. 902. What do we think about the 902, the very last one that we hit?
Without a doubt, even looking at it, you know, you got a player's club in your hand. Solid feel when I could get the ball on the middle of the club face, without a doubt. I love the way it looks. But for me and my game, obviously the other club has worked better for me.
What do you think? What do you think about the muscle down at the bottom? What is that? When you look at that, what is that? Can you see it at address?
I cannot see that address.
Okay, good.
I don't see that at all. The club, everything about it is well. I mean, it's just well designed.
Clean.
All of these look good. Look very clean. Again, the last two, this one and the second one I hit, just look very confident at address.
Okay, so the 902, again, we talked about this. A little narrow on the sole, very thin top line as we can tell. Nice thin top line, very little offset, a little smaller and a little bit less loft, but he's still got, you know, we're talking a degree, so we're not going to see a tremendous, you know, you're 10 yards longer with the other club thing going on. But again, very, very clean. That's what we like to see. All right, that's exactly what we like to see. So overall, you know, from a player's perspective, I had a feeling that the 610 would be his deal. A little bit longer blade, a little less offset for a guy that's used to playing like zero offset, right? Got the ball out there, and in a all using the same shaft, which was the KBS Tour. In this case, it was the R. And on the average, he's about 165, 170, bad shot 155, and 185 with 190 being a good range for him, and the best shot he took one out to 201. So, you know, these things go and they feel solid. So, you know, well done, Eric. Good job.
Good. I agree. Good job.
Yep.
I like those.
And if you guys want to know more, and if you like the video, like it down below and subscribe, and that way you see some more of these kinds of fittings, because, okay, Eric, they're all right-handed. Where's my left-handed one? All right, and let's see your scores go low. Last but not least, Eric at New Level Golf has made a wedge, an M series. This is a 5612, wedge. All right. If you look, there is some heel relief in here and some toe relief. It's not drastic. What I would call basically the tour grind, where you relieve it off the heel here, but not so much on the toe, so you can open this thing up without the leading edge getting too tall. Again, another forged club, and he milled the back to give it this really satiny feel at address. Or I guess a satiny feel at address because you don't see the backside. And but the best part was he's not afraid to throw bounce on this thing. Every professional out there, bounce is your friend, right? And that's what this did. Okay. when we did the PGA show, my one comment to him was that I didn't think that the face was rough enough in order to get that. But the more that we're hitting on this, I've had guys hit on this, I think it's actually pretty decent. It does grab. And per se, Mars hit it, and on the average was right around between 65 and 7,000 RPM as a good number with a range ball. Okay, that hard as a rock range ball. Imagine if it was a tour level ball, what that would have done. So not too bad whatsoever. So after he's hit it and he hits, as a whole, Mars is not a full swing wedge guy, but can use it if necessary, and it's in there. So what'd you think of the M series?
Totally impressed with this wedge. Like I said, I was able to do full swings, which I normally don't do with my sand wedge, and even my half swings, which I prefer, about a 75-yard shot. I can feel the ball just being ripped by the face of this club. It performs as well as any wedge I've hit. I'll be honest with you about that.
Nice job.
Really good club like this.
So what we used in all these, we used the KBS Tour R Flex in the irons, and I used the KBS Hi REV shaft in this particular wedge. So he's used to that kind of setup, so we let him hit it. Ball's nice and high, nice tight pattern on our
Good, consistent, solid feel off of that.
All right. So overall, what'd you think of all as the make, fit, whatever?
I'll have to say, I'm really impressed by the wedge. That probably took me by surprise more than anything.
Okay.
And then the
610.
610
Yep.
was a very impressive club.
There you go. So you can use that, Eric. Very impressive club.
Yeah, I like that a lot.
So well done. So again, guys, if you like what you're seeing on these reviews, hit the like button. And if you would, subscribe, and we'll see some more of these kind of testings. And let's see your score for Mars and Jim. Go low.